Mr. Speaker, after spending more than $22 million, people who are sick and who have mobility challenges struggle every day to get into the Bethesda Regional Hospital in Steinbach. That's because instead of building a hospital entrance on the ground floor, this government built a hospital that forces people to go up 13 steps or to take a narrow, steep ramp to get into the hospital. Wilma contacted me and she said that she was told by her doctor that she needed to get an x-ray at Bethesda Hospital, and she asked her doctor, how am I supposed to get in because I have limited mobility? She was told that she should stand at the bottom of the $22 million entrance and wait for a passerby to help her in, or maybe she could wave and somebody in the hospital would see her and come out and get her, Mr. Speaker. Wow. Why did the government spend $22 million to build a hospital entrance that sick and disabled people can't get into, Mr. Speaker?
The Honourable Minister of Health.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to thank the member for the question. And I know that the member and I have discussed this. In fact, it was one of the very first issues that came upon my desk as I became the Minister of Health. And I can tell members opposite that there has been a lot of work, and there continues to be a lot of work being done by the RHA. And I am very thankful for the work that has been done in terms of the research, the addressing of the problem, and I look forward to being with the member opposite as the work gets underway. I can assure him it is underway, and we actually are taking into account other situations that have occurred since. As he's aware, we had an incident with someone driving up against a retaining wall. That has been factored into the design as well. So I can assure the member that this is being worked on. It is a priority project for me, and I look forward to staying in touch with him.
Honourable Member for Steinbach.
Mr. Speaker, it's been a year and nothing has happened, Mr. Speaker. I received an email about a 90-year-old woman who tried to visit her sick 92-year-old sister at Bethesda. She struggled every day to try to make it into the hospital up those stairs and the ramp. Many days she couldn't get in. Fortunately, she found the strength on the day that her sister passed away. This very morning, my office received a call from a daughter who tried to take her parents, one who has a cane and one who's in a wheelchair, to Bethesda. She couldn't get up the stairs and she couldn't help them up the ramp. So she asked security for help to try to get her sick parents into the hospital. Unfortunately, security helped them to get into the hospital. But, Mr. Speaker, why should a 90-year-old senior struggle to see her sister in her final days, and why should somebody struggle to get into the hospital? The person who contacted my office asked that the government hire navigators to help them get into the hospital, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Minister of Health.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I agree with him and the families who receive care at Bethesda that the current situation is unacceptable. And my department, as I said, we have taken those concerns, and the design plans are currently being finalized, and a tender for the new work is expected to be released shortly. I can assure the member, again, this is not surprising. For a group of folks that froze health care spending, they're not familiar with the construction process. I'm proud to be part of a government that actually builds new projects. Our government is there for the residents of Steinbach. We have done the work on the ER at Bethesda. We're working with the community to build a wellness centre, and they received the province's first quick care clinic. So I can assure members opposite and the member from Steinbach that we're there for his constituents and for their health care.
Honourable Member for Steinbach.
Let me remind the minister, this project took 7 years and $22 million, and you can't get into the hospital if you're sick or if you have difficulty walking, Mr. Speaker. Last year I went to the former Minister of Finance, the Minister of Disabilities, and she said, oh, it's a problem, we've got to get it fixed. So I went to the former Minister of Health, and she said, it's a problem, we've got to get it fixed. And so I went to the new Minister of Health last year, and she said, oh, it's a problem, we've got to get it fixed. So I emailed the Premier, and he said, talk to the former ministers and the minister, they can work on the problem. It's been more than a year. We have sick people who struggle to get at that hospital. While they were having a family feud, old people, sick people, elderly people were pulling themselves up the steps to try to get into a hospital while they were fighting. This is a boondoggle. They've had a year to fix it. Why don't you fix it? Or don't you care about the elderly, the sick, and the disabled, Mr. Speaker? Good.
The Honourable Minister of Health.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And as I've said, I can assure the member opposite that we have been working with the regional authority and with Bethesda to ensure that access is available for patients. If there are specific concerns and specific incidents where that has not happened, I would appreciate direct information. My office will address that, because we have. But I can also assure the member that, again, as I've said, we've invested in a lot of projects in Steinbach. But what happened to Steinbach when their leader of the opposition was sitting around the cabinet table? Well, hospitals and personal care homes in the southern region.
Order, please.